Hello, West Michigan, and welcome to another edition of Meet Her. I'm your host, Jen Wangler, and I'm so excited about our guest today. So on Meet Her, we talk about all of the amazing women running teams, building businesses in West Michigan. And so today's edition is going to really excite you. So let me tell you a little bit more about your guest. Chelsie Wyse is the founder and principal of Tact Marketing. She's located and headquartered in Grand Rapids, Michigan. She and I met a number of years ago, and I've watched her journey over the few years, and I know that you are going to love her story. Chelsie, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, Jen. Thanks so much. I can't believe it's been 5 years, 6 years.
Really? I'm way too old for time to
I'm
go by
starting to
that
reference
fast.
like pre-COVID Chelsie, post-COVID Chelsea.
Right.
They're different girls.
Right. But phenomenal, though.
Thank you. I'm so excited to talk to you today. Entrepreneurship is something that I am like heart on fire for, and supporting other small business owners. And if I can share my not easy path, how I got here today, I'm excited to do that.
Lessons learned,
Yes.
for
Yeah.
sure. Well, let's start. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of it, let's start with who Chelsie is.
Oh my goodness. Well, a lot of I think that kind of feeds into my story a little bit, because a lot of my identity is around being, a self-starter, an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I mean, I was late for my due date. I wasn't born when I was supposed to be. It was 2 weeks later, so I was always doing stuff on my own timeline.
Right.
I am an advocate for small business. I think that they are the lifeblood of our country and the world. I think that like our best experiences are had with small business owners, people that understand us on a human level. And, we get that curated service or that thoughtful gift idea or just a more hands-on, delighted experience from small businesses versus, not to knock on my big corporate friends, but I just really love what small businesses represent.
A local flavor.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So there's that. There I am, firstborn of 3 kids, child of divorce, which my parents will love to hear that when they listen to this.
Right.
But it makes you stronger.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
They set an amazing example of what co-parenting can look like even after a marriage. And I thank them so much for showing me what emotional maturity looks like and what setting a good example and still respecting the other person, even after maybe the love has changed a bit for those 2 people. Mm-hmm. So that was really cool. Mm-hmm. I am a skincare nerd. My partner keeps trying to get me to start a YouTube channel to talk about all the things skincare and makeup. I was a freelance makeup artist at one point for MAC in Macy's.
Okay.
Yes.
All
so
right.
I dabble in that a little bit.
Okay.
And do my own nails. Yeah. So I'm like part-time beauty influencer
Okay.
offline.
Future channel.
Maybe. Yeah.
See what you learn on Meet Her.
I know, right? Yeah, I can help you out with starting your business and getting everything started, and then we can also talk about skincare tips and what's best for nails and shellac and all that stuff.
Excellent.
I'm a girl.
Excellent. So talk a little bit more about college, what happened during there, and it, for all of the listeners. I mean, your journey to being an entrepreneur. I tell this story every once in a while. I am an entrepreneur at heart. Coming out of college, my brother and I ran my parents' business for a number of years, and then 2008 hit, and the world kind of went wonky, and we had to sell it. But that was my first kind of foray into what it means to be an entrepreneur and all of the joys that come along with it. So, for you, talk a little bit about college and then what you did afterwards, because I know that's a big part of your story and why you're doing today what you've done.
Yeah, so I'm going to date myself a little bit. I'm still to a lot of people in my circles, a young entrepreneur. So
you are young compared to me.
I feel like I've lived so many lives. That might be the COVID talking, the pandemic talking. But so I graduated high school in 2009. And then I went to Central Michigan for a year, and everything was going awesome. I was PR chair for the Fashion Merchandising Association they were on campus, the student-led thing. I had to like put a PowerPoint together and pitch in front of all the existing members. And I was like, I got this. Like, I'm going to figure this out. I watched like 3 episodes of The City, which was a show on MTV a long time ago with Whitney Port. I'm forgetting her other name, but Kelly Catrone. And Kelly Catrone is this like I don't know if I can swear on here, badass like fashion PR Mongol. And I was like, I want that job to like run fashion shows. So that's why I went that direction.
Nice.
And got the PR chair. Everything was going awesome. I was taking my PR classes. I met some students that were in the media department, on the news department, and got plugged in there. And then something happened second semester. I don't know what, but I just started to feel super overwhelmed. It was almost like this, things are going really well. How long is this going to go really well? Yeah. Is something going to happen here? And then like anxiety took over. I started looking at other colleges, wanted to go to Columbia College in Chicago.
Okay.
Filled that out, got accepted, but didn't end up going there either. So I ended up dropping out of Central second semester before finishing the term. So those credits didn't transfer over.
Yike.
My parents were divorced at the time. My mom took my brother and sister and moved up northern Michigan, Cadillac area. That's where she had family and wanted to be around family during that time.
Sure.
I decided to come back to West Michigan and stay with my dad. We were living in Holland together and lived with him, worked part-time jobs, retail associate positions. I worked at a gas station for a stint, just making money, trying to pay off that first year of school.
Absolutely.
And I think I was in a heavy self-discovery time of my life. I grew up in a Christian home, and that was a big part of my upbringing. And while I'm not an active practicing Christian today, I still carry some of that with me. Sure. But at that time, I found comfort in that part of my upbringing and decided to apply and go to Spring Arbor University, where I had some friends from high school. They went there. It's a private Christian college. Sure. And they're like, you're going to love it here. This is a really good soft landing place for you. And I was like, sweet, I'm going to go do that. It was a private school.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And if any parent shopping at colleges or have done colleges before, private is not public.
Right.
So the price tag with that followed me. And I say that because similar situation. I got involved. I got a job on campus in the business administration office. Mm-hmm. I tried out for choir there. I'm also a singer offline too. I do some singing. Just like to do all the artsy things.
Oh, gosh. All right.
So I auditioned and got into their concert choir there. I mentioned I got a job there. Plugged in with friends, really enjoyed the community, and changed my major. So Central Fashion Merchandising, PR, gonna rock New York City. Yeah. Went over to Spring Arbor. Was like, I think I'm gonna move to inner city Chicago and buy a big house and just be that like safe house for kids after school to when their parents or guardians get home from work in the evening. Okay. And that's going to be like my life's work, is like having this safe house kind of thing.
Okay.
So I went into theology and youth ministry, and I was going to be like a youth pastor, complete 180.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
So I totally dove into that stuff, and similar thing. Second semester came. I auditioned for this like amazing opportunity to be a part of this private traveling youth praise band. It was my summer job. Like, you have to audition for it. There's limited spots.
Sure.
I had the amazing opportunity to be a part of it. And I was like, this is going to be sweet. So I had summer employment all lined up. Then the anxiety started to set in again.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't know if this is the right path for me. What if I do this? I don't know if I really want to go fully in this direction.
Sure.
So I dropped out 2 weeks before the end of the semester. None of those credits transferred.
Okay.
Disappointed tons of people because I had auditioned and gotten a spot that somebody else could have taken on this Wellspring, this praise band group.
Sure.
And just decided to move back home. At which point, which I think every parent would do, would look at you and be like, all right, what's going on here?
Sure.
Like, we need to figure this out. You can't keep going to schools and dropping out. Like, this is a super expensive self-discovery route that we're on here.
Right.
So through the counsel of my very patient father, lived at home, applied to GRCC. I'm an alumni, so I'm excited to like bring my mug around with me all the time because that was really what changed the course for me.
Set you on your path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I lived at home, applied, got into GRCC, and I'm super grateful for my stepmom who was dating my dad at the time when this was happening and they were getting more serious and on the path to getting married. Her encouragement, my dad's encouragement, my mom, who was still in Northern Michigan, but she was also very encouraging from afar, and went through GRCC and got my associates in communication. During that time, I got a job in the admissions office. Eric Mullen was the dean of the associate dean of enrollment and financial aid at the time.
Yeah.
Sandy Gregory was over there too.
Oh,
And
wow,
they were like my office mom and dad, and my fellow student coworker Erin was really great. Like there was just something really awesome about their temperament, about their expectations, about their warmness that really helped me feel at ease. Like it felt like people were relying on me, but I also was still living at home, so I had that comfort of that. And I think that's what really helped me succeed at GRCC and then ultimately graduate there. Hillary Haney was a French professor there, and while I didn't pursue French post GRCC, or I did for like a year at Grand Valley, but she was really wonderful and another really impactful individual at GRCC that saw the Spitfire, the desire to be something different, but not quite sure how to channel that, what felt like chaotic energy. And I'm just so grateful for those individuals there.
We find people along the journey, right, that are passionate and want to invest in us in little ways. And they often are not the people that we would think are going to, I don't know, I feel like there's some greater force sometimes that puts those people in your path. But, you know, the journey is not, you know, when we talk about leader, it's not linear. It just goes all over the place. So it's important. Thank you for sharing all that. I think it's important for people to see that, you know, it can be crazy and wonky and and stressful.
Yeah. So then from GRCC came Grand Valley. I graduated from CC in 2014. So we're 5 years out from high school graduation and still no undergrad degree, which I'm carrying that with me too, where I'm like, oh, great, debt's mounting. I don't have a degree. Am I going to find a job? What's going on here? So I was living at home, and I remember enrolling in GVSU, commuting often from Holland to Allendale to sometimes even Grand Rapids because I was starting to network and get more plugged in and look at what does employment look like for me. So in the spring of 2015, I had already left my job at CC in the admissions office and was working for a nonprofit in their communications department. And it was just time for both of us to move on from each other. And so I decided to leave. And I was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to do my own thing. I've met a lot of people. I know how to do social media. Social media in 2014, 2015 is not what it is today.
Right.
So it was like, I can post a few times. There's not algorithms. Like this is human science stuff. Like, okay, I can figure it out, whatever. And I'm so grateful that I sent out like what felt like 1 million LinkedIn messages to everybody that I had met during my journeys. Saying, I'm going to be doing social media content creation. Here's how I know I can do this. Let me know if you or anybody else needs somebody to do this. And Emily Riquette Hughes owned what was Riquette Media. I think it's now Happy PR. And she took a chance on me. A friend of a friend knew her and that she was looking for somebody. And so he connected us. And she gave me my first opportunity at creating social media content for one of her international clients. And it was a masterclass in how we show up for clients, the expectation. We do not talk about other clients when we're in front of somebody. The presentation, the surprise and delight to bring to the table when running a business. I have thanked her and will continue to thank her over and over because it was a role model of what I wanted to be in that space. She was extremely professional. She knew what she was talking about. If she didn't know, she delicately was able to say, I would love to discover that together with you. And I carry a lot of those lessons in the way that I run my business today. So really from there, it was, then I met some more people and I met some more people and it was just completely relationship based. I'm still in school, by the way. So I'm starting Grand Valley, getting my undergrad in advertising and PR.
Oh, really? Very
while
cool.
getting this business off the ground.
Okay.
And
Go Lakers.
I know.
I love it.
And it was a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of asking questions,
Yeah.
a lot of networking events. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm paying for it now maybe a little bit, but I didn't have a whole lot of friends during that time, or the ones that I had were very understanding of the hustle. And I believe that life is just a series of decisions with equal parts good and maybe not so good consequences.
Yeah.
And there's really no wrong answer.
Yeah.
You just kind of have to weigh the pros and cons of the end result.
Yeah.
Or like, if I'm going to work a lot, I'm not going to have as much time for family and friends.
It's a balance.
But it's going to grow this. So
Yeah.
temporarily, am I okay pursuing this path?
Yeah.
To then hopefully turn this down a little bit someday and turn this up. It's just all dials.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, girl, it took Brene Brown, 10 years to get her bachelor's. I heard that the other day.
Okay, so I'm in good company.
No, yeah. Yeah. But then when she started, she was like, all right, it's go time. Bachelor's, master's, PhD.
Oh, man.
And now look at her
Yeah.
journey. But 10 years to walk that journey. So good for you.
Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now I could not be more certain that this is, I celebrated 9 years in March this year. And
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
I had a celebratory lunch with my dad, who in the early days was like, okay, like, we'll let you do this, but like, let me know when you're going to get a real job. And the joke now is like, Dad, I think I maybe found my real job. So we joke about it now. And I think it was the push that I need, because my spirit is, well, you're not going to tell me exactly what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
Like, I'll take that under advisement.
Yeah. Like
And then I'll decide if
every
that's the
parent
path.
child dynamic. Absolutely. Well, so let's talk about Tact. Who is Tact?
Tact was Pretty Little Bow when I started. And that got me so far until I met Ellie Freizagel in 2020, beginning of 2020, and had a wonderful coffee with her. And I love this. I tell this story often because that's where Tact came from, because we had this coffee. I own Pretty Little Bow. I'm trying to pitch her to get business from her, and she's just sitting there, just taking it all. She's a coach.
Yeah.
And works with lots of people and changes lives. And she's like, I don't see Pretty Little Bow here. Like, I've just met you.
Okay.
And I'm getting like badass. I'm getting like,
Different
let's get
vibes.
to business. Let's do this. She's like,
Okay.
so I don't know if you're married to that Pretty Little Bow name, but you might want to think about changing that. And I left the coffee like, who is this lady? Like, who is she to tell me what my business should be named? She's not even in marketing. Like, what is going on here? But it ate at me for months until I finally hired her as a coach in May of 2020. And that like completely rocked my world. I was having limiting thoughts around income, what I could totally do for myself as a business, what kind of life I could build for myself. And she just blew every thought I had around something out of the water and challenged me to think about it differently. And so a lot of the work that I do today, while the predominant service is marketing strategy coaching, it's working with internal teams or small businesses that don't even have a marketing coordinator, maybe have a doer of all the things.
Gotcha.
And cleaning up those processes and helping them be more intentional about their marketing, because you can have a beautiful piece. You spend $5,000, $10,000 on a video, but if you don't have a plan for how you're going to use that video, then you just burned that money.
Yeah. Right.
So working with them on that, and then the content second. How are we building assets and materials to support where you're trying to grow this business? I lost my train of thought, but so Ellie helped me blow a lot of thoughts out of the water, and I carry a lot of the teachings that I got from her over into the work that I do today in the marketing world.
That's awesome.
So Tact was born. It was much like Pretty Little Bow came to me at like 11 o'clock at night on a Tuesday. Wasn't really thinking about. I think I was watching Mad Men from my bed at the time, and I was like, oh hey. Tact also came to me the same way, and I liked. Because I do pride myself on being somebody that can have difficult conversations with people, and handling them with grace and being sensitive to the emotions that maybe the other person isn't aware of. I'm a big social psychology nerd, behavioral science nerd, and so how can I marry that into the marketing world where our end product, I hate even using that word, it means people that have lives and struggle and strife and happiness. So I liked something punchy. I listened to a Gwyneth Paltrow podcast, and she was consulted from one of her industry leaders, and then like short names,
Okay.
4-letter words
Okay.
are usually the like easiest to recall. Tact
Interesting.
was punchy.
Yeah.
Tight. Goop is punchy. You know, it's
Yeah.
weird. Like, what is goop? You can kind of make it whatever, but you remember that.
Sure.
So
Absolutely.
that's where Tact came from. And then the logo is kind of this like chaotic scribble. And I liked the juxtaposition of Tact with this scribble, and how a lot of my clients come kind of overwhelmed with, we have so many options on how to market our business, or we're trying to hire for this role and we're not quite sure who we should be hiring.
Yeah.
They come with a lot of that chaos, and then it goes into a single line, and the tagline's making the chaos clear.
Gotcha. And you guys are located in Grand Rapids, right? You just opened up a new office.
Yes. So prior to this, I had dabbled in other co-working spaces around town. And then during the pandemic, like many of us, worked from home and
Yeah.
refashioned a bedroom into a home office.
Yeah.
And that was wonderful until early 2024. And my partner, Steve, he has a friend that was moving to a new building in the Sun Title headquarters building on the corner of Leonard and Lafayette.
Sure.
And they had some extra offices. And I was like, sorry, Steve, I think I want to move in too. So we live together and work together. But they had an extra office there and decided to move in and take the chance of moving myself out of my home, because I felt like I was at a point with my client base, the workload, the team of 5 contractors that I have. I needed a space to
space,
bring
yeah.
clients and to show myself, like, you're not just a glorified freelancer. Like, you are a business
Yeah.
owner. You always have been. But now, like,
real.
hopefully
This
you'll
is
see
it.
it. Yes,
Yeah.
that's what that is. And also, like, a side beautiful moment, Sun Title was one of my first clients in 2015 when I started my business.
Gotcha.
And we did a video together, and we were working together often. So it's kind of like a homecoming to be able to now work out of their space and see them every day.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
And it's such a big move when you decide to
I have
move
a
out
mailing address.
and get that brick and mortar, right?
I have a mailing address that isn't like, not that it gets P.O. Box, because I did that for years.
Right.
But this was like, in my journey, the next step of like, I have a physical address to invite people and have meetings. And
Yeah.
it's very cool.
That's
Or
good. I
host
have to
workshops.
come. I can't wait to come.
Yes.
You're going to have a ribbon cutting at some point?
I think
Or-
I should.
Okay, I think you should too.
Yeah.
Let me know. Maybe we'll do a live there. Wouldn't that be fun?
There's room for it.
Okay.
Steve runs
All
a podcast over there, so we
Okay.
could have a podcast over there for my own that I'm also trying to get off the ground too.
All right.
Entrepreneurs, we're just
Well, more to that, right?
Yes.
Squirrel.
yeah, I know, I know.
All right. So I want to talk about a couple different things. You and I talk a lot about AI. And that's kind of a passion of mine, is getting more women into that space, especially from a business perspective. But let's talk a little bit about how you are intentionally growing your company. That's the hardest thing, right? Like
is.
you can, get the paperwork, register with your state, register with the federal government, you have the company, but what are the first couple steps that you take as an entrepreneur to start to grow your business and your ecosystem?
My biggest is it's probably going to be more work than you anticipate. So I would, to anybody looking at like, I think I want to do this, my gut's telling me it's that thought that just keeps tugging at me, then
Yeah.
you should probably do it. But it's not that easy.
Yes.
So set your
Eyes wide
expectations.
open.
Yes, eyes wide open, and expect to be humbled a lot.
Yes.
First step would be, make sure that you're registered with the state. Make sure you got all that legal paperwork. If you don't know anything about that, find somebody who does. I can help a little bit, but I was somebody who didn't know a ton of it. And it was a friend of a friend that helped me be like, okay, you have to register with Laura.
Yeah.
You need to fill your name out. When I changed my name from Pretty Little Bow to Tact, I kept Pretty Little Bow LLC.
okay.
But Tact is a DBA now.
Gotcha.
So
Okay, yep.
sometimes it can be more complex to file 2 LLCs.
Yeah.
It's really, you have to make that decision for yourself. I find that some entrepreneurs want, if they're moving from working in somewhere
Yeah.
to moving out and running their own thing, they're wanting more decisions to be made for them. And
Yeah.
I'm like, no, like this is your chance to explore. This is your chance to
Yeah.
do whatever you want. How do you want to make it? Start with what kind of life do you want to live?
Yeah.
And then work backwards from there
Perfect.
so that you're not living to work
Yeah. Right. Well,
or
I mean,
working to live.
yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You want balance.
Yeah.
You
Right.
want something that's going to sustain your values, your mission, what your ideas of success look like.
Sure.
And that's going to look different for everybody.
Everybody,
It's
yeah.
easy, especially in those early days, to compare what other agencies, whatever my personal experience, looking at these other marketing agencies. And I'm like, how do they have like 10 people?
Yeah.
How do they have an office already? They've only been
Yeah.
open for 3 years.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because your journey is your own.
Sure.
And my dad always said, like, you're on the highway, cars are going different miles per hour.
Yeah.
Somebody's got a trailer behind them full of stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe you're in there like this little slug bug convertible, whatever car that looks like, but you're in your own lane.
Yeah.
You need to just focus on where you are
Yeah.
and where you're trying to go, no matter how long it takes you to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of things that I usually tell people is, believe it or not, we have a small business development center here in Grand Rapids, and they're great at that early stage stuff, right? Like, how do I file an LLC? Or
Totally.
do I have to get an FIN number from the federal government for taxes? And
Do I want an EIN or do I want to operate under my SSN?
Yes.
Like all of that stuff. I think
Yes.
we're both talking about the Michigan Small Business Development
Yes.
Center.
Yep.
I was fortunate to work with them during COVID and highlight a lot of stories from small businesses.
Oh, good.
And it was, I knew what they had done prior to working with them, but it just
Yeah.
showed me a completely different arena on how dedicated their business consultants are.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a
they're
free resource. I mean, use
free.
it. Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. I mean, I guess the other thing I talk about too is look for kind of those opportunities to network with women that are like you, that are starting businesses, or the ones that have run businesses. So in town here, we have what we call coffee circles, and it's, 30-ish women that are coming together, that are running companies or thinking about starting it, that completely honest and transparent and love to share, and give tips. So I guess another kind of in a group that you can dig into. So let's talk a little bit about AI.
Yeah, let's do it.
So we had a number of podcasts ago, a local expert, Elizabeth Godey, on with Radcliffe Consulting to talk about AI. So talk a little bit about how you're using it in your company and challenges where it's proven to be a huge tool for you.
I get this question a lot because in marketing, there is some concern of whether or not AI is going to take over our jobs
Yeah.
and just write everything
Yeah.
or generate everything for us.
Yeah.
And I still think we're still in its infancy of determining how exactly it's plugged in. It's going to get plugged in.
Yeah.
So whether or not it is going to come for someone's particular job or somebody's going to be in charge of running it, I think we're still learning that.
Yep.
But don't let fear of the newness keep you from, look fear in the face and be like, okay, well, I'm going to figure out how to use this
Yeah.
and how it can make my life maybe more efficient. Elizabeth is incredible and just a treasure trove of information and knowledge when it comes to that. She
Agreed.
and I were both a part of this workshop with the Cascade Community Foundation.
Yeah.
She was the facilitator, the leader, showing us audience members on how to utilize different platforms.
Yeah.
And we just scratched the surface
Yeah.
barely on everything that she knows, but she talked about a few platforms in that workshop that I, prior to that workshop, was reluctant to accept that this was what was going to happen. But
Yeah.
her expertise and explanation of the platforms really tuned my ears up, and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
So I downloaded and signed up for a couple of those platforms, and I use them weekly, if not daily.
Oh, very cool. Okay.
One of the Jasper AI is one of the platforms that is a subscription-based service.
Okay.
But it is instrumental in helping with ideation and framework work.
Nice. Okay.
So a lot of the marketing strategy work we do, like I mentioned, we come in, either we're an extension of an internal marketing team, we are that business's marketing team,
okay.
or I'm just providing one-on-one coaching for the small business owner or the
Yeah.
leader. And a lot of the work that we do is higher level, and sometimes staring at a blank piece of paper is the most overwhelming feeling. You're like, I don't even know where to go
Right.
with this.
Right.
Like my brain's go, we could do this, how AI has helped me with that overwhelming feeling
Yeah.
is it fills that page in for me.
Yeah.
So AI is trainable, and your ability to train and finesse and hug around the voice and the ask is really determines your success in the output.
Yeah.
So
The prompt, right? How good are
what
you
you
get
put
at
in there.
prompting?
So
yeah.
if I could type in, write me a blog post about skincare.
Yeah.
We'll just bring up my personal interest, skincare.
Sure.
It's going to spit out whatever. Yeah. I mean, it'll write a blog post for you.
Sure.
How quality that blog post is going to be, I don't know, because it's going to source a lot of things and pull from things. Well, okay, tell me more about what specifically are we talking about skincare? Right. Are we talking about a routine? Are we talking about specific products? Are we talking about layering? Are we talking about treatments that you should be doing to enhance your skincare? So you have to give it more information to give it that sandbox from which to pull information and to generate content for you.
So my question is, and I use it quite a bit, but the trust value, right? So if you're going to ask it to write this blog for you, there still has to be that human behind it,
100%.
right?
Yep.
Reviewing it. So talk to me about how you do that.
I think this is where the industry is going, is we're going to utilize it to start us off. Where I'm seeing some clients, not my clients, but some clients, future clients maybe, is utilize it to just mark things off their task list because we're being overwhelmed with the amount of work that we need to do. So I'm just going to put this in and put this prompt in and then boop, there's my blog, there's this. But you really have to check it. Yeah. Because people know that you can't bring your enthusiasm. Like you can feel it. I guess maybe you could, but there's just some phraseology in the AI output that hasn't caught up with the nuances of humanity yet. Will it ever get there? I don't know. Yeah. But you do have to take the time to edit it. You do have to make sure that your SEO keywords are in that content, that you're thinking through how is it going to be used. Yeah. AI might be able to assist you with that. But at what point, though, I think the bigger question is, why am I utilizing this so much? Like, am I utilizing this so much because I really don't like these tasks? Or am I utilizing it because I really do enjoy these tasks, but I've got a heavy course load, or I'm trying to work smarter with my brain? For me, it's very challenging to start. So AI has been a wonderful co-pilot in helping me start the process of writing something. And then it's easier for me to break the blog post apart or the social media content or the marketing strategy apart and be like, well, that doesn't really make sense for this client. So I'm going to move this up here and then put this here. We're going to focus on that later. Yeah.
So Elizabeth will share very publicly when she talks about having ADHD and the fact that she uses it because it reduces that white paper insecurity that she has.
She and I are one and the same in that, for sure.
I think I creative mind.
I haven't been fully diagnosed yet, but that's on my to-do list. But I have very similar thoughts about that. Like I just get so overwhelmed with the amount of paths that I can go in creating a strategy or creating this content or even content ideas. I'm like, I do know, but it's like tucked away. Yeah. And AI helps surface kind of files from the back brain to the forward brain.
So for those that are out there that are thinking, okay, I want to start to dip my toe in there and use AI personally or professionally, give them two ways to just start.
AI is excellent for prompting. So if you're
and prompting is?
Like going in and typing, give me 24 social media post ideas around the topic of skincare, wellness, clean beauty, and skincare routines.
Perfect. Yep.
It'll totally give it to you. And then you might look at that list and be like, oh, okay, well, that's a good idea. I can flesh that out a little bit more. Well, that one doesn't make sense. And then you can start taking it on as your own.
Gotcha.
Another way that it's also been super helpful is being an entrepreneur and continuing to grow the business. When you get really busy, it's a really great way of showing you holes of things that maybe you don't want to do or your weaker ties in your life. I hate making food.
Oh, you and me both.
I hate making dinner. I hate grocery shopping. I hate everything about it. Like next level up in life is to maybe hire somebody to come at our house 3 times a week and like make us dinner because I hate it. And I would rather do what I do and take my earnings and like empower, somebody who loves doing that. Yeah. And then like we're both doing what we love to do and supporting each other. Yeah. So I will use AI sometimes to help me grocery shop, to find recipes, to come up with recipe ideas, breakfast ideas. develop workout routines, create an ideal schedule for a busy entrepreneur looking to work out more or fit more time with family and see what comes up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I use it to write all the scripts, all of my interviews.
Yeah.
Both in live and person. I mean, you customize from there, right? And you
Totally.
go off script, but at least gives you kind of that starting point. So
I think what it does is it maybe removes the need to feel like it has to be perfect.
yeah,
Because if AI is generating it, it's a machine. It's not somebody who did poorly or well.
Yeah.
It can just put something out, and then you have the agency to make it better, to make it your own.
Yeah.
And I think that's where I see its benefit.
yeah,
Where I'm still kind of on the fence is when social media platforms, I'll pick on Meta right now, is kind of shoving it in the face.
Yeah.
That's my experience. Of you sign into the platform and let's say an article is going viral on Facebook and its AI extension will sum up the thoughts of the thousands of comments.
Yeah.
And so you'll see at the top, like, people are saying, and it'll summarize. And I think that part I get a little nervous about because where is the exploration of conversation?
yeah,
Why are we not, like, if you're seeing it's going viral, look at the comments, gauge the thoughts for yourself, because AI is going to take its numbers and it's scientific and it's going to take common keywords and frequency of keywords and frequency of tone
yeah,
and generate something like A plus B equals C.
yeah,
If you're able to catch the human nuances in comments, maybe it's a disagreeable article and people are really upset about it,
Sure.
but you can read through that and catch human nuances and determine, like, what exactly are they upset about? Is it the headline, or is there something in the article that is more specific that people are upset about? You can just dig a little bit deeper. So I get nervous about that part.
yeah.
Or just the use our tool.
Definitely a learning curve for everybody.
It's
for a
not
while
going
to come.
anywhere.
No,
It's
isn't.
not.
It isn't. All right. So Chelsie, couple quick rapid fire questions for you to end out. What's your favorite book?
Oh, great. Steve's going to laugh at me so hard. He's like, you need to read more. I really love Good to Great, and I also love Setting the Table. So both of those are business books.
Yeah.
Good to Great is talking about, we can do things at this level, but what really separates us from going to greatness, and how do we elevate what we're currently doing and making it even better for a customer, client, coworker, life experience. Okay. And then Setting the Table, I was extremely fortunate. This was 2014, 2015. I went to the branding conference, Brand New. Okay. They have it every year in various cities. This year it's in Park City, which I'm hoping to maybe go to. And I was in New York, and Jonathan Holfer of Holfer, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong, Holfer Typography.
Okay.
They make fonts. I mean, they made the Vogue font. They made the Time font.
Yeah.
I had an amazing opportunity to sit down and have coffee with him, and he recommended that book to me because we shared in a similar interest of the hospitality business. What is it that separates the quick and easy? Like, yep, I'm just going here for food. I'm not going here for the experience. So to pick on some business at McDonald's versus going to like a Bodie's. They're both food, very different food.
Yeah.
But that experience, the white tablecloth, the type of glassware, the way that the servers, the wait staff talk to you, how they pour your wine into the glass, how they do it. So taking notes from the hospitality industry and pouring that back into any industry. I probably dance around it a lot. I'm super into just experience and how can we, what is separating you from the competition? Everybody can do anything.
Yeah.
Right? We're in 2024. Everything's been created already. It's how are you standing out?
Yeah.
And being your unique self cannot be duplicated because there are nuances to you that will separate you from somebody else.
I love that. So how do people get in hold of Chelsie or Tact Marketing?
LinkedIn's probably the best way to get a hold of me. I invite people to come find me on LinkedIn and connect. And I would love to sit down with an emerging entrepreneur who is like, I have this idea. I have no idea where I'm going, because they likely have some limiting thoughts like I did, even 5 years into my business, and then hired Ellie to help coach me through those things. I'm not saying I have to coach you or anything, but hearing those and being that cheerleader to just be like, you can totally do it. It's going to be hard, but you can totally do it.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you for giving over your time. I've been so blessed to know you.
Thank you.
And have you in
Likewise.
my circle.
Likewise.
You'll have to come back on again, because I feel like we just
my goodness.
tipped the bucket. But
Yes.
Tech Week Grand Rapids coming up September
I'm very
16th
excited.
to the
Yes.
20th. Hopefully you can join us, and we look forward to having you back.
Thanks, Jen.
Thanks, Chelsie.